Hi, my name's Emily May, and I'm a proud member of the Orlando Colonial FFA chapter. Me and 3 other seniors are raising 3 state fair calves for this upcoming year. And a lot of people look at where we are in the middle of Orlando and question, how are you guys able to raise these calves? And we always say it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, but it also starts on understanding them. And a big part of understanding any animal is their nutrition. Nutrition is important for any animal, whether it's your pet at home or livestock. For these animals, nutrition has 6 components, which is water, proteins, vitamins, minerals, fats, and carbohydrates. Each of these have different parts of the body that make it up as a whole, and it's all different depending on it's a dog at home or livestock here. Now that we know the 6 components of nutrition, let's talk about the ones that are specifically in feed. For this calf behind me, I feed him Sunglow Calf Grower, and in any bag of feed, including this one, it comes with a slip on the side that tells you the ingredient statement and the guaranteed analysis. What a guaranteed analysis is, it's telling you how much of a nutrient is inside of your feed. So for these 3 specific ones, I'm going to tell you the percentage that are in here. For crude protein, there's 12%. For crude fat, there's 3%. And crude fiber, there's 16%. For crude protein, that's telling you how much nitrogen is inside of your feed. And for crude fat, that's telling you how much energy you're going to get in your feed, and also that's what's filling up your animal. For crude fiber, that's telling you how digestible the feed is. Now that we know 3 crude nutrients of this feed, let's talk about some vitamins and minerals. For this calf feed, it has calcium, phosphorus, salt, sodium, potassium, selenium, and vitamin A. Some of these minerals are crucial for their body development, such as calcium. Calcium makes up 50% of total body mineral for calves and us. And as for potassium and vitamin A and salt and sodium, those help with oxygen transportation, skeletal structure, and maintenance. So having these minerals inside of your feed, you want to make sure you're paying attention to how much there is, so you know that your calf is building up all the way. Now that we heard the overall nutrients inside of this feed, let's take a look at what it actually looks like. For this feed, we can see that it has rolled oats, some grain, and also some cottonseed and corn. Altogether, this feed builds up what we saw on the guaranteed analysis on this paper. Joining me from the Florida State Fair Steer Fraternity Program, we have 135 Night Fury and number 129 Lance. These are 2 different steers that were bought at the same time that are 2 different breeds. The black one over here is an Angus cross, and this white one over here is a Charolais cross. 2 very different body structures, but been on the same feed, and it has affected them differently. So this steer is my personal steer, so I get to know a lot more about him, and right now his rate of gain is about 3.5 pounds per day from the same feed that we talked about earlier. For him, he's a very deep-bodied steer, so his belly goes all the way down. But for him, his loin is a little bit flat, and his back is not as rounded as some other steers, which is something that I would really want to improve on him. And for him, his nutrition, we already can tell is working on him because his tail head in the back here is starting to fill out. You can see the area where he's starting to gain some fat, and it's starting to get spongy because his overall finish is coming in. As for this steer over here, Lance, he has a very different body structure than Night Fury. He's a very lean boy who has a very narrow body type. He doesn't have that depth of body like Night Fury does, but that doesn't mean he isn't good. Right now, you can't see any of his ribs, which is a really good thing because that means right here is all meat. And as we go down, his loin is a little bit bigger than Night Fury, and you can see that he has a very round end. When it comes to his round end, that means he has more meat here, but you can also see that around his tail head, it's filling out a lot more. And that means he's having a lot more fat here. When I was talking about finish earlier, that is the fat. For finish, at the end of this project that we're doing, which we're having these steers for about 5 months, at the end, we want them to get to a weight of around 1,200 pounds and then have finish on them, which is meaning in the production world, marbling, and just fat in general that makes the meat not so lean and has more flavor. So for him, we would love to see a little bit more finish down here, and he will probably get it because he's already starting to show it up here. In summary, today we learned a lot about the 6 components of nutrients and how they impact the steer's body. We looked at the Sunglow grower calf feed and the components and percentages that are inside of that feed from their general analysis statement. We got to learn about things such as crude protein being how much nitrogen is inside the feed, and a lot about some other vitamins and minerals. From there, we looked at 2 different steers that are here at Orlando Colonial that are on the same feed and how it's impacted their bodies. We got to look at their overall body compositions and got to see the roundness of one and the depth of another. This opportunity for us to be able to raise these cattle in the middle of Orlando would not be possible without the Florida State Fair Fraternity Program. They help people in rural areas and urban areas that are in programs such as FFA and 4-H raise these amazing cattle and get to show them at the State Fair. So there's many other opportunities that you can get from the State Fair, including dairy goats, chickens, and swine, but please come out this year in February to the Florida State Fair and see all the fun we're having and learn a little bit more about all these different animals we get to raise, and maybe one day you can join these programs so you can do it too. Thank you so much, and again, my name is Emily May. Makes up almost 50% of your animal's mineral. In summary, today we learned a little bit more about the 6 What are you doing?
There's a fly on my finger.
Is it everything good in the shot?
Yeah.
Are you gonna film on me? Are you filming?
Yeah.
This is funny. You better not start a fight! Okay. This will be in the bloopers. Okay. Is it okay with them in the shot? Are they fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
She's looking.
Oh, okay. So it's filming, right? Overall, today we talked a lot about different components of some different components of nutrients. We talked about the 6 major components of nutrients, which is water. Should I say it again? You think? You good? And over here, I'm just starting off. The nutrients have impacted them. Stop fighting in the background of my video. In summary, today we talked a lot about the 6 components of nutrients. I hate this.